Hey guys, Jonah here once again for another beer review, and we're going to be doing another one from the Beer 52 box for Spain, which is this month's box. And we are back with the same people that we were doing yesterday, but this time it's a pale ale. It's Cerveza Racha. It's the Hoppy Pale Ale. And surprisingly, I'm so glad they didn't call this a Session Pale Ale. Maybe that hasn't got to Spain yet. You never know. And over here on the old Spidey diagram, looking a bit like another one of those Star Trek kind of insignias. Um, it says Hoppy Pale Ale is a very thirst-quenching golden ale. So is it a Hoppy Pale Ale or a golden ale? Don't know. Light in alcohol, gently carbonised. This beer has a lovely aroma of hops with notes of citrus and resin by the new generation of American hops. On the palate, fresh, very drinkable with a light bitterness, touch of fruit, citrusy notes, creating a long-lasting aftertaste. Ideal as an aperitif or pre-lunch beverage, accompanying spicy or hot tapas. Okay, so there's a bit of a link there to Spain. Simcoe, Mosaic, and Amarillo. So guess what? I am expecting a bit of orange in there. But basically, as far as I can work out, this is Spain's example of like an American kind of pale ale. If it was proper American, it would probably be a Session IPA. But I'm glad they didn't do that. Come on, focus, damn you. There we go. Beer Cerveza de Fabricación Artesana. So it's artisan, it's a craft beer, man. It's 4.5%. We got water, barley, or barley malt, I should say, hops and yeast. Nothing else in there. Pretty utilitarian, chilled. The one from yesterday had a brown thing because it was a porter. And this one's a light blue colour, which is pretty good. I like that. And this has been in the fridge all day. I think it was in there yesterday. I put it in at the weekend. There we go. Oh, little bit of jizzage, but never mind. Let's go for a pour. So this is probably going to have a reasonable amount of head. We shall see. Ah, that's not too bad. There we go. Probably about a finger's head, I would guess. Ooh, lovely jubbly. Why don't we do that while we're there? Yeah, finger's head. Lovely, lovely white, fluffy, sort of cloud-like kind of bubbles, which is pretty good. Oh, forgot to do a photo. That's my surprised face. And it is reasonably clear. So it's not a hazy pale. This is a normal pale. You can definitely see me through there. You can see my hand. It's not crystal. It's not too bad. I mean, it's just the light reflecting on this back. There we go. If I turn it that way, oh, you can see my nose through there. So that is pretty pale. Very light carbonation. You might be able to see. There we go. Zooming in on some of the bubbles there. Very light. Unfortunately, the head is not sticking around. So, and we're getting tropical fruits. So that's the mosaic. Maybe a bit of the Simcoe too. Simcoe, I think I've said this before, but dear viewer, if you have, let's say, tuned in to listen to my dulcet tones, you will know what I'm like. So I do repeat myself, unfortunately. But this beer specifically has got Simcoe and Amarillo. Let's forget about the mosaic for a start. So what I'm expecting is an orange kind of flavour from both of those two hops. Simcoe is more a kind of juicy fruit kind of orange, and the Amarillo is, I always think, is a little bit like marmalade. It's less juicy, more sort of tangy, if that makes sense. And then we've got Mosaic, which most of you have tried if you've been drinking craft beer over the last few years. You haven't tried Mosaic in a beer, you're living under a rock. But hey, maybe you maybe you need to come out for a beer once in a while from under your rock. Anyway, that is what I'm expecting, dear viewer. I'm going to dive in a second, but if you like this beer review, please click subscribe, please click like at the very least, and if you want to know about anything, please ask me down below in the comments. I love getting a comment or two. Anyway, happy Tuesday, and let's get into it. So initially, it is a sort of green kind of hop, which is unusual from those three hops. Then we've got a little bit of the zestiness, and then, yeah, maybe the juiciness comes in a little bit, and then a bit more zestiness at the end. I was expecting more tropical fruits in here. I'm kind of just getting generic, yeah, not orange either. It's just a generic kind of citrusy, fruity kind of thing going on, but not specifically from orange. And yeah, weirdly, I'm getting that green kind of hedgerow thing going on, which is unusual from these particular hops, I have to say. Dive in for some more. Oh, barley sugar. That's the other thing that sometimes I get from Amarillo, and I am kind of picking this up reasonably late in the finish. So sort of barley sugar type thing going on. A little bit more juicy, a little bit more fruity that second time. So maybe this has been really hopped quite severely. I don't know if it has, because it doesn't taste very bitter. So maybe they've thrown a shed load of hops in late on. I mean, it's nice. It is kind of on the fruitier side, if you like a sort of fruity, juicy beer, but not superbly juicy. Something like the Cloudwater beer that I had last month from the Manchester box was a lot more juicy than this, and you could tell they'd used a lot more hops. This one, yeah, it's not. It's nice, don't get me wrong, but it's not like packing a major punch. But I suppose it's a pale ale. Wow, it's got some carbonation. Yeah, and that weird sort of generic hoppy taste, as opposed to a really specific. This is Simcoe, this is Amarillo, and the mosaic. I Yeah, is it there at all? Wow, why am I getting so much carbonation? It's not like the head has more or less vanished. The other thing is, not much tide action, not much lacing going on. Again, I'm not. I go on constantly about tide lines. You probably got sick and tired of me talking about it. But believe it or not, I'm not a lacing monster. There are some people that really do shoot their load over a glass with lacing and in certain patterns and twisting the glass to get it to go in certain ways. No, I just like the lines on the side of the glass. That makes me happy. But yeah, none today. Hmm. Let's go in for another sip. This could be the final sip. We'll see how we go. It's too easy drinking, this beer. There we go. A little bit more lacing kind of happening, but that will disappear very, very quickly, I would imagine, like the head did, which is unfortunate. Yeah, it's a sort of got that barley sugary taste. It's not a sweet beer, but it's not superbly dry either. It's sometime in the middle, like a medium. and that barley sugar kind of thing's right at the end. So otherwise, generic hops, I mean, they are there, like a sort of hedgerow, I usually call it, or dried grass, that kind of thing. Very, very small amount of juiciness, which I imagine is coming from the Simcoe. And again, it's not like one of those real juicy beers that washes your mouth out after each taste. It's not doing that at all. It's just this kind of juiciness, um, watered down juiciness, perhaps. And then, like I say, I'm getting that kind of marmalade on toast or barley sugar. And when I say barley sugar, I'm not necessarily talking about the drink, the Robinson's barley sugar water. I'm talking more along the lines of barley sugar sweets that you get, those boiled kind of sweets. So it's a little bit like that. But, and I know it's a pale ale. I know this is meant to be a sessionable beer, 4.5%, which is hidden very well. It's a little bit nondescript for me. Maybe a little bit more hops would have made it pop a little bit more. The malts aren't very pronounced either. I mean, it's quite a generic pale ale, to be perfectly honest. Not bad at all. I'm not saying it's bad, but still quite generic too. So that was the Arriaca Cerveza Arriaca Hoppy Pale Ale. It even says it's hoppy, and it wasn't. I don't think it was that hoppy. But as a sessionable pale ale that you're going to be drinking in the sunshine over summer in España, and I believe these guys are just northwest, no, sorry, northeast of Madrid, in the central area in Spain. So it gets super hot there. We're talking, getting up near 40 degrees. You need a beer to quench your thirst, and yeah, you could try a lot worse than this particular beer. So I like the fact that these guys are doing some different styles. They're obviously kind of trying to do their own Spanish spin on American styles and using a lot of American hops. Um, but yeah, I would say if you want an American hoppy beer, stick to the American ones. This has been Uncle Jonah drinking Spanish beer, so you guys don't have to. We'll be back tomorrow with another beer, and we'll see what we get. Probably going to be another Spanish one, to be honest. Although I do have a reasonably special. I thought it was incredibly special, but you will have to hold on. Why don't you subscribe, and then you will not miss out on some amazing beers coming up and amazing beer reviews. Guys, cheers and beers. We'll see you real soon. Uncle Jonna